See, I always associate art with coffee.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because my first art teacher and mentor, when I first came to Canada, was 11. And he always had coffee in the classroom. You'd go in,
Great, yeah.
you know, so from an early age it's like coffee art.
Yeah.
So I just automatically do that. It was just wonderful. Alan Scott, taught at the Royal Conservatory of Music in Hamilton. So there were Saturday morning art classes, all kinds of. So Saturday morning was full of kids, like 10, 15 kids. Just like a real art school, you have to do the still life, and he'd come around, and he didn't talk a lot. He would just sit down, and he'd ask you if he could go into your painting, and he started fixing everything up. You just have to watch, and it was like amazing, right? So I don't know how important that memory is, but it was to me. It was the start of a whole process, right?
And what process is that?
The process of learning your craft, which I think is very important. Of course, that was followed by high school, but it was a technical high school. Whereas by grade 11, half of your day is devoted to art making. Huge department. We had like 6 or 7 art teachers, anatomy, illustration, painting. We had a crafts teacher, so you had to learn it all. We're talking about back in the 70s. I'm aging myself. Earlier though, I grew up in England, and in England, art is taught as a subject like any other subject. So that's probably my beginnings right there, the totally being inculcated into the art, right, from an early age. Late teens or something like that.
You've always
Did I gravitate towards painting? Yeah. But I guess as a kid, being enamored with comics, probably I thought of illustration as a career. And sure enough, I did pursue it. And I did that for a short time, early in my career. And it was published. I don't talk a lot about my illustrative background. It can be held against you.
Right.
It's true.
Right?
On camera.
I know.
You did it.
I'm bearing my soul.
I mean, a lot of artists were illustrators.
Yeah.
They were.
They had to be.
Edward
They
Hopper.
were sustaining.
Edward Hopper, who hated it, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it, but it didn't last long.
Yeah.
Well, Picasso.
Yep.
Remember his illustrations for the Quatre Gats, which is the 4-cat club?
Yeah.
He did the menus.
Yeah.
It goes on and on, yeah.
But it's like still very good, like, foundational. You know what I mean? Like it's all learning. I think. All life is learning, and
It is. Well, it is if you allow it. But why there are other artists that have to make radical changes, like I feel I did.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's two arguments to that idea, that notion, right? So yeah, I can show you my illustration if you want.
Let's see it.
If you feel up to it, that'd be brilliant.
Sure, I can keep going, Robert.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh yeah. I had to get this online
Gosh.
because I didn't have my own copy of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go. It's first issue in color.
Oh. Amazing.
Okay, so Star Reach Productions,
Yeah.
American, it's out of California.
Yes.
My agent had to sell the stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
Yes, it is.
No. So there's me. What really got me about this is,
Do you mind if I take a photo?
no, God no. Help yourself. It's bad. It's so bad.
No.
The other one, I'll show another one that is much better.
Yeah. So did someone else like traditionally do the lettering, or did you do both?
I did.
Oh my goodness, you did double?
Oh yeah.
Because usually it's a team.
I loved, you could see by the title that I loved type and font. But then fine art takes over, right? Self-expression takes over. It was nice to work with writers and editors and stuff like that, but there's always that, you bring your work in, can you change that?
Yeah, right.
Can we do this? Can you add some duotone to that? You've just spent like a month doing that, right? Fine, I would go back, I'd do it, because you have to please the editor. And I thought, okay, this is it. Got a studio. 2 other artists in Hamilton, downtown Hamilton. And I just committed myself to painting. That was the start of my career right there. So we're talking 1981. I was involved with the Hamilton Artist Inc. That was a great period of time. I had my first show there, a lot of shows actually. So I was showing throughout the early 80s before I left Canada.
What kind of work were you showing there?
Mostly figurative.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, large portraits, full length. I remember showing that, bunch of stuff. Yeah, mostly figurative, right? Lots of nudes, stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. It was a good time. So, and then I went to Spain. My wife got married, went to Spain. My wife says, "You want to go to Spain?" I says, "I don't know. I just started my career." I don't regret it. It was wonderful. And that's when I started really seriously plein air painting. And just painting. I mean, I've already done up till then, but I thought I'm going to start just plein air, urbanscapes, right? And I've been doing that for years. So you want to, I don't know if you want to look at some of these.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to put them on an easel, hang them on there?
Oh, whatever you want.
I don't know.
Good.
This is big enough for here, I think. So this is my work prior to what you know my work. All right?
Where is this?
That's downtown Brantford, Sunday morning. There's your typical post office building in the back, much like what we have here. The yellow building is the CIBC, whatever.
You paint this on site?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's why there's no cars, no people. Love it. So that's that one. I think we should fast track. Oh no, there's one more. I got to show you one more. Here's a good segue. Downtown Brantford to downtown Cambridge.
How do you,
There. Anyone been to Centennial Park up the top of Main? That's the view from Centennial, looking right down Main Street.
do you bring an easel and everything when you go, or?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that out.
Yeah,
The portable folding easel.
yeah.
What's that?
Why landscapes? Why landscapes?
Or urbanscapes, or
Yeah, urbanscapes.
I don't know. Just subject matters there.
We're there.
Easy to get to.
Yeah.
Just take your paint box and your canvas on site. Tons of variety, there's no end to just pure form, right?
Mm-hmm.
Light, right? I think there's a lot of light in these things.
Yeah, it's radically.
And a lot of depth. Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. One more. And the reason I'm showing you this, because you notice the emphasis on the sky, right? Mm-hmm. So at a certain point, because we haven't talked about this either, Robert, at a certain point, I started looking towards the sky, right? And I think there's sort of a bridge. The sky painting, and I'll show you more, become a bridge between urbanscapes, landscapes. I'll go to the landscapes now. These are all right, and you can already see the sort of the freedom, all right, and things like that. And then the reason I brought that, because what happened is the horizon line got lower and lower until it dropped right out of the composition, right? And then I'm doing stuff like pure sky. Sorry, goes this way. Pure sky painting. So there's a whole show of these that I haven't shown yet. But I think they're important because they come between this and the ones you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Because of the freedom, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you look up at the sky and those clouds are moving, you've got to paint fast.
Yeah.
And that in itself, and interpret, right? Right? In other words, they're very abstract, I guess, in a word, right?
Yeah.
Right? It can become. So I've got a whole, about 20, 30 odd these. Okay, so I go down to the river, side of the river. I say, okay, I want to paint water now. I've done the sky, now I'm looking down at the water, right? And start making drawings like that. Right? That. Oh, that's actually this rail bridge over here. Because there's the post, what do you call the rail bridge? Right? So I have a decision to make, right? I say, do I paint directly from water because I've been painting from life, playing all this time? And I say, no. I'll tell you why. Because water, it's like anything else. It's in perspective. So here you get the ripples, right? But as it goes further back, because of space recession, you just get lines to the other side. So to me, I thought, nah, it's not interesting, right? In and of itself. Most of the paintings will be quite similar. And then you would decide that you want to interpret more. So the lines become gestural, playing with line and stuff like that, right? And I'm saying that's more interesting to me, right? It's no longer in perspective, the line can do anything. It's very interesting, right? And imagine what it's going to do in paint. We're just talking a drawing here, right? So I start doing, I gotta get the right ones for you, these gouaches. Gouache studies. Hang on. I've got to give you the correct sequence. Not that. Well, right? Where you just, right? There. I consider that to be a breakthrough piece. A total interpretation of water, right? I think it's pretty well all there, right? It's got the color, it's all stenciled, it's all, right? Leads to all this kind of stuff, which should be familiar to you because this led to the paintings, right? All color, line, right? Real simple means, right? There, right? Bring the fish back in, which, by the way, really worried me, eh? Should I put fish in there? Should I, is it too...
Representational again?
Yeah, exactly, right? You run that danger.
Yeah.
You really see it here, right? So I say, okay, no, got to make the fish much more subtle, right? But I think everything's worked out here. So it was a, simple transition from here to the paintings, right? So now I can bring that, because you can see the relationship to this, right? Which, by the way, is one of the first ones anyway. Right?
Yeah.
And of course, don't forget, that's this.
Yeah.
Right? Because for a long time, some of these paintings didn't have, it's just the color.
Yeah.
It's the line that somehow galvanizes it, brings it all together, I think.
Yeah.
Right? I don't, well, I can show you, hang on, let's go back to one that doesn't have a line, you tell me, right? It's still okay, this one here. But it's nice, but it doesn't have the, it's calling for that line, doesn't it? Right? Different, right?
Yeah.
But this is the thing, though. This was entirely experimental. This whole group of work. See, look at that. But
The gray one. I want to see the gray one.
the black and white ones. Yeah. I'm glad you're asking that, because we're now going to go back to that, I think. Whoops. These guys. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I'll tell you why that's interesting, because I'm going back to that. Right? That's why I brought out these. I brought these out. It's not finished, it's just begun, but this is one of the last ones I did. It's just begun. These are taken a little further. But as you can see, I think there's quite a change from these and the ones that are at the show. Right? There's that one and that one. So I think what I'm trying to say is I'm getting out of the water.
Amazing.
And just reducing it to pure line.
Yeah.
With no relationship to anything really, except the lines.
Yeah.
Right? See how far I can reduce it, right?
Yeah.
To me, they're about drawing. They're still drawing,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you distill drawing to its basic element,
Right.
I think it's line. That combined with technique, right? Of printmaking. This stenciling, printmaking, right? It's modern printing, but instead of it being a flat plate, it's a cylinder. It's a sonotubes.
Right.
You put stuff on it like fabric, material, whatever you stick to it, you roll it into the paint and you roll it onto the canvas. Bingo. You don't know where it's going to land. That's beautiful. That's fun, and it repeats. There's that repetition of line, right? You know what I mean? Yeah.